While I was sick and grieving my mom's death, my wife asked for an open marriage. I said no. Now she's broke after quitting her job, demanding financial support. And when I refuse, she threatens to leave. Where was my support when I needed it? My wife is 43 and I am 50, and we have been together for 7 years, married for 18 months. No kids on either side. Our relationship has generally gone well. We're physically compatible and enjoy each other's company. Honestly, the conversation is not super deep. We mostly have generally positive but surface-level interactions. From the start of our relationship, I paid for most of our joint expenses, dinners, vacations, and we both moved into a house I owned 4 years ago. That wasn't a big problem for me. I earn well, and she was also making just over 6 figures and was able to buy herself what she wanted. She has a bit of a clothes habit, but it doesn't really bother me. Over the last year, a few things changed in our relationship. Firstly, my wife left her job. She went out on leave, but didn't return. Then we went on vacation, and while on vacation, I had a serious medical issue, which meant we had to cut the vacation short. I spent 6 weeks in and out of hospital. My wife was supportive, driving me to and from appointments, but didn't really engage with what I was going through. A few months after that, I had pretty much recovered. At that point, my mother passed away. I grew up outside the USA, so I went back to my family for the funeral. While I was with my family, my wife asked me if I consider an open relationship. To be honest, the medical issues had negatively impacted our sex life. I felt the timing was inappropriate, and my wife apologized. I came back from the funeral a couple of weeks later and went back to work, but things felt tense. Last week, my wife told me she was running out of money. This was the first time she'd mentioned any money issues. We've never had a joint bank account, but she's insisting that we open one, and I put my salary into it. We've never discussed that before either. I told her that I didn't feel very emotionally supported in the relationship, and I feel blindsided by what I saw as an ultimatum. She responded that maybe we should separate if I'm not going to step up and fully support her. Am I the asshole for refusing? Best comments. As an adult in an adult relationship, it's pretty crazy to expect someone you met at age 36 to support you without some kind of trade-off. No kids, I assume, so what's she doing all day? She sounds like she's pretty clearly said, I want to sleep with other people, and if you won't support me financially, we might as well separate. She is an aspiring actor. She's been in a few shows, but they pay little to nothing and take up lots of time. And that is how it comes across to me as well. She took a medical leave for burnout. We did discuss her going on leave, but not that she wouldn't get another job when it ended. Then I got sick, and it feels like a downward spiral since. But your relationship sounds less about love and more about convenience. Are you together just so you're not alone? The marriage is young and may not be hard to get out of, but I wouldn't stay in such a relationship of what sounds like one of those if we haven't found love by X age, let's get married kind of situations. If she's ready to separate, then maybe it is time to dip out. This hurt to hear, probably because it's more true than I'd like it to be. I don't like being alone. At some point, I looked at all the people I dated and went, this is pretty good all things considered. But pretty good, not great, or love of my life. She told you she wanted to F other people when you went to bury your mother. Is being alone worse than that? You are right, of course. A woman asking for an open relationship has already opened a relationship. She's going to have a rough time supporting herself with bit parts in community theater. And don't forget, lock down your credit. I genuinely don't know if she's sleeping with someone else. She denied it when we talked about the open relationship, but I understand why people are suspicious. I will push harder on that, but can I get a truly honest answer? Update number 1. Thanks to everyone who commented. It's honestly pretty sobering and has forced me to confront some things about my marriage, but also about myself that aren't particularly pretty. We're sleeping apart tonight, and I'm going to bed. Update number 2, 7 days after the first post. Well, it's been quite a whirlwind of a week. After we had the initial discussion, we didn't talk for almost a day. Then we came back with a mutual expression of what the F just happened on our faces and stared blankly at each other. I suggested that we take a time out to write down what was on our minds. Then we could have each other read it, and that would be the basis for a more in-depth conversation. We spent a day doing that. Boy, it did not go well. I wrote about how I perceived she was emotionally absent while I was sick. She really didn't understand what I meant, and I tried to explain, sometimes I just need someone to talk to. Her response was basically, all you want to do is talk, and I felt that was really cold. What she wrote was basically a diatribe. Well, that's how it felt to me, about my legal obligation to support her. At one point, she said our marriage, quotes were hers, and I felt particularly hurt by that description. It was clear that we weren't on the same page, or even in the same book, about what the problems were. My wife then suggested counseling, and I agreed. Her therapist knows a marriage counselor. He sent us some intake forms, which asked us to rate our satisfaction with the marriage and the accessibility, responsiveness, and engagement of our partner. It was a miserable exercise filling out the form and realizing just how low my ratings were. So that evening, I sat my wife down and said, I scored us really low. She asked, should we bother talking more? I said, no, I don't think this is going to work. She agreed pretty quickly, and we canceled our appointment with a marriage counselor. We have an appointment with a divorce lawyer later this week. I'm probably going to spousal support. I'm not thrilled with that, but it's only money, and I'll get over it. My wife understands she'll need to move out and has started packing. How do I feel about this? Obviously, it's a big shock. At the same time, it's clearly the right thing to do. Thanks for every comment on the previous post. There was nothing here worth saving. Best comments. For the spousal support, maybe the fact that she decided to quit her job could have an impact on the amount of support you owe. From what I understand, spousal support is based on the past year of marriage, when she wasn't working, LOL. It is half the length of the marriage. It's not forever, but it doesn't matter why she quit her job. It's strict community property where I live. Your marriage ended as soon as she asked for an open relationship. It's better to be alone than to have a wife who wants to F other guys.